Alright, guys, today I'm going to be giving you my top 10 new for 2023 roller coasters predictions. Now, I want to give a couple shout outs to Voltron going to Europa Park and the Tilt Coaster going to Energylandia. These two coasters we don't know much about, but I assume they would make the list, but we can't be too sure. We have like blueprints and stuff like that, but we don't know the actual elements and stuff like that that's going to be on these two rides, so I'm not going to include them. So without further ado, we're going to get into the list. So the number 10 spot actually might be a bit of a surprise. This is Pipeline, the surf coaster, going to SeaWorld Orlando. Now, this is hopefully one of the few rides I will be riding next year from this list, and it looks pretty fun. I think this is a huge wild card. It could be right here, it could be way higher, it could be like the worst thing of all time. It's really going to depend on how the seats flex, how comfortable are the restraints, but this could be really cool. You might actually be allowed to get standing airtime, so that's kind of cool. I mean, it's probably not going to be anything too special, but it looks fun. The inversion looks fun. The launch looks good. Like, overall, looks like a fun ride. At the number 9 spot, we got Storm going to Tucson-Fried. This is a swing launch Gerstlauer invert, so a very weird concept. We know how a swing launch feels on an intimate impulse, so probably something similar to that. So that's going to be fun. Hopefully it's a smooth ride, because I know some of Gerstlauer's coasters could be rough. I personally haven't been on any that are, but I've heard lots of complaints about them, so hopefully this isn't too bad. We got some fun inversions, a nice little airtime moment, it looks like. So this should be a really fun ride. Probably third or second best in the park. Probably not better than Thunder Coaster, but maybe better than Speed Monster. I don't know. But at the number 8 spot, I've got the Jumanji-themed B&M Wing Coaster going to Chessington World of Adventure next year. I don't think we know the actual name of this thing, and if we do, it's not on RCDB, so yeah, from what I know, there's no actual name for this yet. It's just the Jumanji-themed B&M Wing Coaster. And yet again, we got a shuttle launch coaster. It's really unique for a B&M. It's got a launch. It's got a fun inversion. You're going to go through forwards and backwards. And best of all, it's got theming, and some pretty cool theming by the looks of it, too. It's going to have that huge, like, panther or whatever that cat statue is. I'm not sure what it actually is, but we'll call it a panther statue for now. That's absolutely massive. You're going to circle around that and then go backwards and then go back through the station up a spike. So this coaster looks really unique for B&M. I'm glad they're stepping out of their comfort zone for this, and Pipeline, the surf coaster. Number 7 is going to be Palindrome going to Coda Land. This was supposed to be for this year, but it got delayed to next year, which kind of makes me question if my number 6 pick's going to be open next year, but we'll get to that in a minute. But anyways, this is another shuttle coaster. You're going to go through the full layout forwards, hit a weird spike. It's got like this airtime bump in the middle of it, and then head back through the layout. It includes 2 really fun-looking inversions, airtime moments, a really fun-looking first drop. Everything Gerstlauer is known for is in this thing, except for, the Carnan trick, but I don't know, that probably wouldn't work outdoors anyway. So, but overall, especially that stall over the road, that looks really fun. This ride just looks really fun, so hopefully this is a good second place addition to support a nice lineup of coasters with my number 6 pick, Circuit Breaker, also going to Coda Land. This is the first ever new generation Vekoma tilt coaster. It looks really great. A bit inversion heavy, I think. I would have liked a few more airtime moments. Maybe instead of that last Heartline roll, throw a couple extra ejector pops in there. Um, my main concern with the tilt coaster is my complaint with the dive coasters, and that's the pacing. Um, if you don't know, with like a dive coaster or a tilt coaster, you're not going into that first drop with a full head of steam. In fact, on a tilt coaster especially, you are not going to have any steam going into that first drop. You are just falling down, which is cool for a visual. But in terms of how much speed you're going to have through the layout, I'm kind of concerned about that, especially since Gravity Max doesn't look to have the best pacing, but Vekoma's improved themselves. We'll see what they can do here. Again, the layout looks to have some really fun looking inversions, a few good pops of ejector airtime, probably some great intense low to the ground transitions that look really fun. So overall, yeah, this definitely looks like a great ride for Akota Land. And now we're in the top 5. So my number 5 pick might be, yeah, it's definitely the most surprising pick on this list, unless you're a huge Schwarzkopf fan. Yeah, this is American Dryer Looping, formerly Chimera at La Feria. You've got 3 extremely intense looking vertical loops, a layout that also looks really good, a few airtime moments, great positive G's in the helixes. If they run this trimless, which I honestly kind of hope they don't, yeah, it looks ridiculous. It looks like it could be in my top 15 for sure if I rode the old Chimera right now. I'm assuming they're going to trim it. I would really like it if they could place a trim after the first 2 vertical loops right before where the accident happened on Chimera. So, like, you could still have that power through the vertical loops, but you're not killing the side friction wheels going through that next turn. And then the third loop can be like more hang time focused almost, I'm thinking. I think that would be a really cool contrast with the really intense vertical loops at the start. But still, even if this runs slightly less intense than it did at La Feria, this is going to be an incredible ride. I'm a bigger fan of positives than a lot of people, so I mean, whenever I go to Indiana Beach, I'm definitely looking forward to this thing. Definitely should be the best ride in the park. Now we're into the big 4. These 4 look like they're miles ahead of the rest of the competition, even rides like Circuit Breaker and American Dryer Looping. So at the number 4 spot, I've got Wildcats Revenge. All 4 of these spots look really close, but something had to come in 4th, and this was it. You've got 4 inversions, tied with Steel Vengeance for the most on any RMC in North America. You got great ejector airtime moments. Might be a bit more positive G heavy than other RMCs. Maybe not quite as much as like Zadra or another coaster we're getting to on this list, but still looks really good. Drop looks fun. Pre-lift looks fun. Like overall, everything on this ride just looks so fun. In terms of how it ranks amongst the RMCs, I could see it ranking anywhere from like Storm Chaser, Twisted Timbers level, all the way up to even like Wildfire level. Like this thing looks really good, but not quite as good as Totitus coming in at number 3. This is what I'd like to consider the sister coaster to Pantheon or Soaring with Dragon, but it looks way better than even Pantheon, way better than Soaring with Dragon, but it looks ridiculous. You have a similar looking first half to Pantheon, just kind of a warm up. And then you have the swing launch sequence, the amazing top hat, and then you've got an even crazier layout after the top hat than Pantheon, including some really rapid fire transitions, an amazing looking stall, maybe even better than Pantheon's, incredible looking ejector airtime, and it just looks a bit longer than Pantheon. So overall, I mean, a better version of Pantheon, that's hard to beat. But I've got 2 more coasters that I think could beat it. At number 2, I have Gotham City Escape going to Parquet Warner. This is their first new coaster, I believe, since they've opened, or at least their first major coaster since they've opened, over 20 years ago. So this is something, and this is quite a way, um, to bring back new additions, new major coasters. This looks like Velocicoaster if it was actually intense. Like, I don't know. I don't think Velocicoaster looks nearly as intense as some people say, but this thing looks like that. This thing looks like what a lot of people say Velocicoaster is. Um, it looks to have some pretty good theming when it opens, but the layout is the real star of the show here. Amazing top hat by the looks of it. Incredible inversions, great airtime pops, all the things Intamin's known for. Um, Amplified by like 10 on this thing. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe one of the concept POVs had like this launch straight into a dip off of the launch, which looks ridiculous in the back. I don't know if that's going to be on the actual ride, but if it is, that might be the most ridiculous moment of airtime in the world in the back row, if that's true. Um, just either way, this ride looks incredible. But I have to go with none other than Airy Force One for my number 1 spot. I said last year that this thing looks like a fun RMC, maybe like Wildfire level if it's lucky, probably like Storm Chaser, Twisted Timbers level. Now that I'm looking at it, I don't know how this profiling is legal. Like, you look at the Outer Bank on this, I don't know how they came up with that, but it just looks absolutely absurd how much airtime you're going to get on that Outer Bank. And that goes for pretty much everything on this ride. The profiling is ridiculous. Joe Drabes is a madman, all right? This ride looks like it's going to go way too fast through these elements, which I'm not complaining about. The airtime, the positives, everything looks like it's going to be sped up to 11. I don't even know. It's going to be ridiculous. I'm telling you. This thing has a shot at being the best coaster in the world. Now that I'm seeing it all complete, all the profiling's done, everything, we're about to see test cycles. So we'll see how fast those are. If the test cycles are ridiculous and they're like RMC original Raptor pacing, like, this is a contender for the best coaster in the world, I'm telling you. So that's my list that's my top 10 new for 2023 roller coasters coming out next year predictions. Let me know what you guys thought of this list down in the comments below. Do you agree with me that Airy Force One looks like one of the greatest coasters of all time? Do you agree with any of my picks? Probably not, but I don't know. We'll see. Let me know in the comments below. Make sure to like and subscribe, and I'll see you guys next time.